Hello, hello Cancer. Welcome to your February 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Cancer. And hello and welcome if you're new to my channel. But if you are not new to my channel, I just want you to know that this month's readings are going to be way different than anything I've ever done before. So I have a ton of decks in front of me. And I am just going to be going with whatever it is I think you guys need. I'm picking 10 cards. There is no structure to this. It's just 10 cards and we're going to see what comes up for you in the month. And also thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing. I appreciate it. And let's just go ahead and do this. Okay, so the truth bomb that I have for you this month is redefine what you think is possible. Okay, I love working with stuff like this whenever these messages come up because it is pushing you to shift your belief system. Remember that all you're working with, okay, is how you were shaped when you were small. So what belief systems were instilled in you when you were young, and then as an adult you repair those through having different experiences and collecting new data. But you have to do the work in order to redefine what you think is possible. So this is just pointing to belief systems that are getting reshaped at this point in time. So just make sure that you are that you're aware of it. I think there's a lot of negative or unhealthy belief systems that people run when in reality they might be a lot happier, healthier, and live more wholehearted lives if they were to just look at what they believe to be true as being separate from the nature of reality. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm just gonna pull a few of these and see what starts coming up for you. So first thing, we have 7 of Feathers. That's equivalent to 7 of Swords in a normal deck. And then we have the High Priestess. Okay, intuition on point with your decision making. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, a lot of space this month. There is a whole lot of space coming through. Okay, Page of Torches, evaluation and looking at where you're going next. And then we also have the Hanged Man. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna read these as they are right now, and then I'm going to pull the rest of them. So what we have going on with the 7 of Swords is you needing to create space. This isn't something that's just kind of happening to you. This is something that you're creating, and you're actively deciding to let certain things go and pick up other things that you are wanting. So it's kind of about taking inventory, which is where you're starting off the month. Excellent time to declutter because it looks like you're in need of some space. So what the High Priestess is highlighting here is basically using your intuition in order to help support your decision making. Whenever something doesn't feel right or true or in alignment with you, that you can trust that. You can trust when you feel a contraction rather than an expansion. You can trust these things that you're feeling in your body in order to help guide you further. Now, some of the nuances can get a little bit tricky and we're not always totally crystal clear. But in terms of what you need to get rid of, your body is going to let you know, hey, this thing that's no longer working or no longer fits or is no longer in alignment with you needs to get cut out. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is really what helps you figure out what is it that you're calling into the space that you're creating. Because when you declutter and when you create some type of vacancy, you have to, well, I mean, you don't have to, but it's for your benefit to be really intentional with what you want the space to be filled with. And so that's the entire point of manifestation, right? Is if you have a vacancy, you want to set your intention for what you want to fill the space or replace what it is that you have going on right now. Like if you wanted a new job or something. So the Wheel of Fortune is kind of a hit or miss card, because it's like for those who are unwilling to shift the way they're thinking or do any emotional work or restructure belief systems or do anything of that nature, you're very likely to recreate the same pattern over and over and over and over. So this could be something like poverty, you know, like a poverty mindset over and over and over. A lot of people do that. It could also be, you know, a toxic relationship over and over and over. So the whole point of that happening is so that you remember the information that you're needing in order to reach a higher standard for yourself. So that's what the Wheel of Fortune is like. You're either welcoming something new, or you could be welcoming an old pattern. And no matter what, I'm not trying to place a value judgment, because it's your experience, but at the end of the day, you get to decide what comes up in that space, and it's entirely up to you. So I know that there's a lot of people who feel that they're disempowered, but I promise you a lot of what you're experiencing, if you do consider it to be painful, can be shifted and it can be adjusted, but you have to get yourself to the point where you kind of know how to work with this space. Okay, the Page of Torches, this is all about evaluation. So this is a great card for you to have, because it's similar to the Seven of Feathers in the sense that the Page of Torches, or the Page of Wands, wants to have all of the information and look at all the different angles first, and then figure things out as they go. So here it's like both of these are evaluation cards. Okay, so this is more of like taking action on it, but you need to look at the whole picture, look at what you want long term, and look at whether or not the actions that you're taking now, are they in alignment or are they out of alignment with the things that you want for yourself? And you at the end of the day, you have to be the one to decide that for yourself. Now, the Hanged Man is saying you need to be patient. Okay, the Hanged Man is like, you don't get, it's like, what is that saying? The day that you plant the seeds is not the day that you get to eat the fruit. That's what you have going on here. So, I mean, think about how long that caterpillar is going to have to wait in that cocoon. Like, this isn't even showing them emerging as a butterfly. They're just starting to develop the cocoon that they're in. And so maybe this month is about planting seeds, or maybe it's about creating a vacancy. So whichever side you're on, whether it be finding something to fill the space with something that's more in alignment with you, or needing to create space, you're going to need to give yourself time in order to see the outcome, in order to see how things are really going to start moving. So be patient with yourself. Don't expect an overnight transformation. While they do happen, speed is not always the right answer for every single situation. So be flexible with what you think is the right pace, and be open to things taking a little bit longer than you might realize. Let's keep going. So then we have 10 of Rocks. This is 10 of Pentacles, so long-term, big picture vision. And then we have the 6 of Feathers, so moving forward with something, whatever that might be. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And then 4 of Shells, this is the 4 of Cups. So something's being rejected or turned down. We'll see what that's about. And then the World, oh, I love this card. Okay, and we also have the Star. Okay, wrapping up with the Star. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Now here's the deal. All of this stuff that you're doing with evaluating and working towards something and creating this space and following your intuition, it's for your long-term plan. There is no other option. Like, there is no other thing that really can be focused on at this point in time. Or, I mean, again, it's like you can. I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just that, I mean, really, what else is there? if you're stuck in a short-term cycle, or if you're stuck in a pattern, then you have to think bigger. You have to expand your thinking and focus on the long term in order to make different decisions in present time. And that's what's going to push you into the next stage of your life and really set you up for success long term. Now, the Six of Feathers is like, okay, there may have been turbulence, but let me phrase this as, you have the option of things becoming more stable and more grounded and more secure. That's something that you do have available to you. It's not like, you know, some people get it and some people don't, or some people are chosen to have easy circumstances and situations and other people aren't. So I'm gonna see the Six of Feathers. We also have the Eight of Pentacles. So okay, this means it takes work. Like you're not going to just get like a free ride, right? Like that's not how this works. Good things take effort. If you want to change your life, you have to start doing things differently. If you want to change a circumstance, it starts with you. Because at the end of the day, you can't control other people. You can't control circumstances and situations around you. And so you have to sit in the driver's seat and really get on top of this, because this is how you're really going to make change for yourself, for the better, for your highest good, and in all the capacities that you would like to see shift. So the Four of Shells, now this is one of two things, okay? It's going to show up differently for each of you. Either there's something that's being offered that isn't in alignment with you that you need to say no to, or this is something where there's good things coming in and you are rejecting them and communicating, no, I'm not worthy of good things. Okay, so which side of that coin you're going to be on, I have no clue. This is just communicating that something is being pushed back. So you can either use this to your advantage, which would be like if you have an opportunity or something come into your space that just doesn't agree with you or your body. Those are things that you do want to communicate no to, because yeses and nos, I have found, have equal pull. Okay, if you reject something, is just as powerful as if you say yes to something. It just depends what it is and whether or not it's best, right, and true for you. So maybe something is really in alignment with you, but it's scary. That could be something that would be worth saying yes to if it's something that is really in alignment with your long-term plans, your big picture vision, what you want for yourself. And the things that are of old patterns, which is oftentimes what comes up and presents itself, because that's how the universe likes to play things out. It says, hey, that lesson that you just went through, why don't we see if you're still into that? Let's see, are you serious about having grown? So here, I'm going to show you the same thing. And if you say yes to that, you're in the same cycle, you're doing the same thing, and you're not communicating that you want growth. You're communicating that you want to experience the same thing over and over again. And you have that right. There's nothing wrong with that. And I know it sounds crazy, especially if you're experiencing something really negative. But the whole point of having an earth body is so that you're able to experience the things that you want to experience. Not anyone else, not what anyone else thinks is best, right, true for you. It's just whatever it is that you want in this lifetime, good and bad. And then the world is showing that cycles do really matter. Okay, so death, rebirth cycles, old patterns, old behaviors, these are the things that are coming to the surface. And I think you're going to have a really crystal clear picture of what exactly it is that's either working for you or working against you. And so this is just allowing you to see everything that you're working with. I think that more than anything, the world is showing that you have the information that you need in order to get where you want to go. And then the star is just a really sweet message to have coming up here. I'm going to pull another card. We have the Sun of Summer, so this is the Knight of Cups really, when the star pops up, it's kind of like you have to trust the process now, even if you don't see the results right now. So it's communicating something very similar to the Hanged Man. It's like things can be really great. Things can be so, so, so good. You have to invite them in. You have to be vulnerable enough to experience them and to take risks. Because if you're living in fear, if you have any fear-based thoughts and you stay there, it is going to keep you small. It is going to keep you contracted. It is going to keep you from taking risks and being vulnerable like the Knight of Cups would be. But if you're willing to push against that, you are able to experience astronomical growth in the, you know, during this month. So just be open to that. And one of the reasons why people don't do the work now is because they don't see results right now. And what you have to focus on is doing the work now without seeing the payoff. You have to do the work with and invest without seeing what the outcome is going to be. You have to trust. And if you don't, then you're not going to be able to experience the star fully. And then underneath we have the Knight of Feathers. So it's kind of like you have to go get it. I don't know if you can see that little mouse down there, but it's like he's going after it, this owl right here. And you want to take the same approach to February, which is you kind of have to get yours. You have to initiate. You have to take charge. You have to be the one to really grab the reins of your life and steer it in the direction that you want. Trust yourself. Trust that you're going to call in the thing that you want to occupy that space that you have. So it's all about you doing the work this month. It's like you have the space, you have the resources, you have the time. You have to be able to take action. All right, I'm going to pull some oracle cards and do a 3-card pick and all sorts of stuff. So first thing coming up, a fearful world. And this is what I was talking about. I know that growth can be really uncomfortable, especially when it requires you to take the same risks that may have gotten you hurt the first time. So, for example, relationships are a really great example of this. Like, let's say you've been burned, you've been hurt, you've been stabbed in the back. It might be really hard to be vulnerable coming out of that space. However, the flip side of it is that if you're never willing to take risks, then you're not allowing yourself the opportunity to experience healthy relationships. So you have to have both. They are both required in order to really push yourself to the next level and to get the things that you do want. And so it's just one of those things that you're going to have to push against the fear and lean back into faith as much as possible as you start taking risks. So I know that there's a lot of things that are scary. Getting hurt is scary. Experiencing pain is scary. Things going wrong is a scary prospect. But at the end of the day, that's just as possible as things going really well. It's just that you might not have that data yet. So go get the data. And then the Miracles Now card that I'm pulling for you is I make time to recharge my battery. The world needs my energetic light. Okay, so taking time for yourself is going to be really key this month. Making sure you're giving yourself lots of TLC and care and just being really kind to yourself as far as the time you're taking and what you're saying to yourself as well. So remember that you can deplete yourself if you're being too hard on yourself. And then the Botanical Oracle, we have connection. Reach out to friends, family, people who care about you or that you care about them. It just looks like the connection of being surrounded by loving people is really valuable for you at this time. So it's a good resource for you right now. Okay, I'm gonna pull one of these as well. Throat chakra, you gotta communicate. You gotta communicate, you gotta speak up. A closed mouth will not get fed. I can promise you that. And one of the things, this might also be really terrifying, right? Like communicating what it is that you want and need, or what it is that you desire, or what it is that you're feeling at this time. All of that might be really petrifying. I know that it can be the source of a lot of wounding. And so that's just what this wants you to know, is that you have to speak up, you have to communicate, you have to do all of that in order to see the results. So it's kind of like if you just sit and think about something and you never speak up, or if you want someone to telepathically understand what it is that you want and need without you having to breathe a word, you're going to be in for a rude awakening, because that is not going to give you the desired results that you need. People aren't telepathic, unfortunately, and you have to push against the fear in order to see the breakthrough. And part of that is going to be directly connected to how much you're communicating and expressing your needs and desires. And let's go ahead and do a 3-card pick. So you can ask yourself card 1, 2, or 3 and see which one feels best and right for you. You can ask a question. You can notice the card that's sticking out to you most. I'm putting them down at the bottom because I can't lift them if they're sitting on too many cards. So just notice the card or the question that you have. Pick all 3 if you want. This is just for you. And card number 1, 9 of Cups. Make a wish. Make a wish. I also want to mention that if you make a wish and you want something to happen and you call it into your space, remember you have to say yes to it. You have to accept it. It can't, it's like, you know, you can't remain closed and expect the thing that you want to still fall into your lap. You have to welcome it with open arms. And that's the one condition. You can ask and the universe can send it to you, but you have to be willing to receive it. So don't forget that. Card number 2, we have Justice, keeping things in balance, keeping things in check. It looks like there is probably a lot of reciprocity is coming up with this card, like the give and take, the push and pull, the here and there. All of that stuff is, it's like you have 2 ends of the spectrum and they're kind of tugging on each other. And so this just looks like when you have one extreme, you're going to want to balance it out a little bit with something else. So just keep that in mind and try to keep a clear head in whatever situation you're asking about or whatever it is that you're doing. Just keep a clear mind, a clear head, and focus on keeping things even keeled as much as you can. Not people pleasing. I put that aside. It's just about, you know, if someone's asking a lot of you, then maybe you can ask something of them and try to balance the scales a little bit. Or if you feel like you've been listening and holding space for a lot of people, reach out to a friend, utilize that connection that you have. And then card number 3, we have 2 of Cups. This is once again connection. Okay, great for relationships. If you're looking for a relationship right now, great for the right business partners, friendships, the right people kind of coming into your space. So if you're in need of something, more than likely it's going to come through a person. And so that's what you can really count on this month. And that is all that I have for you this month. Thank you so much, Cancer. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Don't forget, if you want to work with me one-on-one, I do intuitive counseling sessions. That's just what I do. And I also offer tarot spreads and a whole bunch of cool stuff. You can check that out in the description box. I also offer love and relationship readings that are just like this. They're big fat spreads that I do for each and every sign. They come out on the 1st of each month. The link is in the description box for that as well if you'd like to check that out. And until next time, have a lovely, lovely rest of January or February whenever you are watching this, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.